Clara Thornton's blood dripped onto fresh snow, red against white. Her husband's boot pressed into her back while their 3 daughters screamed from the porch. "Worthless!" Silas spat. "Can't even give me a son." The leather strap came down again. And again. She stopped counting after 7. Then hoofbeats. A stranger's voice cut through the frozen morning. "Get off her! Now!" A rifle cocked. Clara lifted her head and saw a man with no matter what she done, no matter what anyone says. That ain't discipline. That's cruelty. Clara felt tears building. She fought them down. Crying solved nothing. She'd learned that early in her marriage. Abigail shifted behind Jacob. "Mister, is Papa gonna find us?" "Not today, little miss. But tomorrow? Tomorrow we figure out tomorrow. Today we get warm." Nellie spoke up. "He'll come. He always comes. Mama ran once before. He found her, beat her so bad she couldn't walk for a week." Jacob's arms tightened on the reins. "That's so. He said if she ever ran again, he'd kill her. Said the law would call it justice." Sarah rushed in. "But you couldn't save your wife and baby." Clara gasped. "Nellie." "It's all right, ma'am." Jacob finally looked back. His eyes glistened in the firelight. "She's right. Couldn't save them. Couldn't save my ma neither. Maybe I can't save you, but I can try. That's all any of us got in this life. The trying." He stepped out into the cold. Nellie lay down beside her sisters. Her hand found Clara's. "Mama." "Yes, baby. I think maybe he's telling truth." Clara stroked her daughter's hair. "I think maybe he is too." "Does that mean we're safe now?" Clara looked at the barricaded door, at her sleep and an empty house. His jaw ached where the stranger had hit him. His pride burned hotter than any physical wound. He staggered to his feet, brushed snow from his coat, and looked at the tracks leading away from his property. "Clara!" he bellowed. "Clara, you bring those girls back here right now!" Silence, wind, nothing else. He stomped into the house, every room empty. Clara's few possessions still there, she'd run with nothing but the clothes on her back. Stupid woman. He grabbed his coat, his gun. Stupid, worthless woman. At the stable he saddled his fastest horse. His hands shook with rage. 6 years he'd put up with her weakness, her tears, her endless failure to produce an heir. And now she dared to shame him, to let another man carry her off like some kind of damsel. The sheriff would hear about, "Your husband's got power. Law's on his side. We might lose everything tomorrow." "I know. But tonight," he squeezed gently, "tonight you're safe. Tonight your girls are safe. And for the first time in 5 years, I remember why I wanted to keep living." Clara turned her hand in his, laced their fingers together. "Then tonight," she whispered, "is enough." They sat together under the stars, 2 broken people, holding pieces of each other. And somewhere in the distance, wolves howled. "You're no good to anyone exhausted." "Clara." "Don't argue with me, Jacob Thornton." She folded her arms. "I spent 6 years being told what to do. I'm done with that too. Go. Sleep. That's not a request." Henry coughed to hide a laugh. Jacob stared at Clara like he was seeing her for the first time. "Yes, ma'am," he said finally. And to her astonishment he smiled. Small and rusty like a door opening after years closed. But real. He headed for the barn. At the door he paused. "Clara." "Yes." "Thank you for being bossy." He was gone before she could respond. Henry cleared his throat. "Ma'am, if you don't mind me saying, I ain't seen Mr. Thornton smile in 5 years. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Clara felt heat rise in her cheeks. "I'm not doing anything." "If you say so, ma'am." Henry tipped his hat. "I'll be outside." The night stretched long and cold. Clara sat by the fire mending one of Abigail's dresses that had torn during the snow play. Her daughters slept in a tangle of limbs on the bed, peaceful as she'd ever seen them. Henry's boots crunched outside, making rake and play. They're easy to be good with. Jacob shuffled the cards. They ain't broken yet, just scared. Scared can be fixed. Can it? Has to be. Otherwise, what's the point of surviving? That evening, with the storm still raging, Jacob told stories. Tales of cattle drives and wild horses, of frontier justice and hidden gold. The girls hung on every word. Even Henry, pretending to keep watch, leaned in to listen. "Tell another," Abigail begged when he finished. "It's late, sweetheart. Time for sleep." "Please, Mr. Jacob, just one more," Clara interceded. "One more. Short one." Jacob thought for a moment. "All right, this one's about a princess." "Cowboys don't have princesses," Nellie said skeptically. "This one does. See, there was a princess who lived in a tower, not because she was locked there, but because she'd locked herself in. She thought it was the only way to be safe." Clara went very still. "One day a cowboy came riding past. He'd lost everything, his horse, his hat, his hope. He was just wandering, not going anywhere particular, and he saw the tower." "Did he climb it?" Abigail asked. "Nope," came from a door. Martha's voice hardened. I knew, and I didn't do nothing. Let me do something now." Jacob took the bundle. "Thank you." "Thank me by keeping them alive." Martha pushed him toward his horse. "Now go, before someone sees you talking to me." Jacob mounted, started to turn his horse. "Mr. Thornton." He looked back. "There's others," Martha said quietly. "Others who know, who've seen. We've all been too scared to speak. But if it came to it, if there was a chance—" She trailed off. "A chance for what?" Stumbled inside, breathing hard sweat freezing on his face despite the cold. "6 men," he gasped. "Silas the sheriff, 4 others I don't recognize. They've made camp about 2 miles south, got a fire going, drinking. They're not attacking tonight. No, they want us exhausted. They'll hit us when they think we're weakest." Jacob peeled off his coat. "But I saw something else." "What?" "Rider heading the other direction, fast, toward Judge Harrison's territory." "The judge?" "He should be arriving tomorrow or the next day, if my message got through, if he believed it," she managed. "That's what matters. It's not enough. It'll never be enough." Dr. Price set down her bag. "But it's a start." By evening, the cabin felt crowded. Tucker and Dr. Price, Henry, Jacob, Clara, and the 3 girls. 7 people in a space built for 1. But nobody complained. The air hummed with something Clara hadn't felt in years: solidarity. "They'll come tomorrow," Jacob said over dinner. "Now that they know others have joined us, they'll want to move fast, before more people switch sides." "Let them come." Tucker's voice surprised everyone with its firmness. "God is on the side of the righteous. Alls. Everyone knows you beat her." Reverend Tucker stepped forward. "We all know. We've all seen. We just didn't have the courage to speak. Well, I'm speaking now. What you've done to that woman is a sin before God and man. You married us." Silas's composure cracked. "You stood in your church and blessed our union. And I've regretted it every day since." Tucker's voice rang clear. "I was blind. I was a coward. But I see now, and I won't be silent anymore." Sheriff Garrett shifted uncomfortably on his horse. Still shook in her hand. "He hurt them. For years. He hurt all of us. And he'll pay for it. I promise you. But not like this." Jacob reached her, gently placed his hand over hers on the pistol. "Not like this, Clara." Silas started to speak. Jacob's boot caught him in the ribs. "Shut up. You've said enough." Clara looked at her husband, this monster who'd stolen 6 years of her life, who'd made her daughters afraid of their own shadow, who'd convinced her she was worthless. She wanted to pull the trigger. God help her, she wanted it more than she'd ever wanted anything. But Nellie was watching. Abigail had emerged from Itwood, she said. Jacob stood beside her arm in a sling. "What did you think it would feel like?" "I don't know. Triumph, maybe? Happiness? Something. Those come later. Right now, you're still processing, still realizing it's real. He took her hand. Give yourself time, Clara. You've been surviving for 6 years. Living takes practice. Will you teach me? We'll teach each other. That night, with Silas gone, and guards posted, and children finally sleeping peacefully, Clara and Jacob sat on the porch under a sky thick with stars. Thank you, like armor softened. The grief he'd worn for 5 years lifted just a little. Say that again. I love you, Jacob Thornton. I love you too, Clara. He pulled her close. God help me, I've loved you since I lifted you out of that snow. I just didn't know what to call it anymore. Gross, Nellie announced. Adults are gross. They broke apart laughing. Rosie clapped her hands. Kiss again, kiss again. Later, Clara promised. Right now, let's see what Henry's done to our home. John. Inside, the changes continued. A second bedroom had been framed out rough care of him. I'll make sure he laughs again. I'll give him a family to come home to. She felt Jacob kneel beside her. His hand found hers. Catherine, this is Clara. She saved my life even when I didn't want to be saved. And these are her daughters, Nellie, Abigail, and Rosie. You'd love them. They're wild and brave, and they don't take nonsense from anybody. He paused, swallowed hard. Rebecca, sweetheart, you've got sisters now. I know it's not the same. Nothing will ever be the same as what we should have had. But these girls need a father, and I'd like to be that for them. Think Mrs. Catherine minds that you married Mr. Jacob? I think she's glad he's not alone anymore. Clara squeezed her daughter's hand. Love isn't like water, Nellie. It doesn't run out. Having more people to love doesn't mean loving anyone less. So Mr. Jacob can love us and Mrs. Catherine at the same time? Yes. And I can love him and still remember your father was once kind to me before he changed. Nellie frowned. I don't want to remember Papa being kind. That's okay too. You get to remember however you need to. There's no right way to feel about hard things. They reached the cabin as the sun touched the horizon. Jacob stood on the porch framed by golden light, and Clara felt her heart swell until she thought it might burst. Ready for supper, he called. Coming. Abigail ran ahead. Race you! Rosie tottered after her sister. Clara and Nellie followed slowly hand in hand. Mama. Yes, baby. I'm happy. Is that okay? To be happy after everything bad? Clara stopped, knelt down, took her daughter's face in her hands. That's not just okay, Nellie. That's the whole point. We survived the bad, so we could have the good. Being happy isn't betraying what happened. It's winning. It's proving that all the pain couldn't break us. Nellie's eyes glistened. I thought maybe happiness was for other people, not for us. I thought that too once. I was wrong. Clara kissed her daughter's forehead. Happiness is for everyone brave enough to claim it. And you, my darling girl, are the bravest person I know. Months passed. Seasons turned. The apple tree grew. The cabin expanded 2 more rooms, added a proper kitchen, a porch that wrapped around 3 sides. The ranch prospered. Jacob took on more cattle, hired more hands. Clara discovered she had a talent for bookkeeping, for organizing, for turning chaos into order. The girls flourished. Nellie learned to ride like she'd been born in the saddle. Abigail found her voice singing songs that carried across the prairie. Rosie, now 4, bossed everyone around and called Jacob Papa, without a trace of memory of the man who'd fathered her. And every night, Clara and Jacob sat on their porch and watched the stars. You know what I realized, Clara said one evening as summer faded into autumn. What's that? I used to count bruises. Every night before I fell asleep I'd count them. How many new ones? How many were healing? It was how I measured time. And now, Clara smiled. Now I count blessings. 3 healthy daughters, a husband who loves me, friends who stood up when it mattered, a home that feels like home. That's a lot to count. More than I can fit in one night. I'll have to spread them out across a lifetime. Jacob pulled her closer. Good thing we've got one of those. The first apple came the following spring. It was small, a little misshapen, not quite ripe, but Rosie found it on a morning walk and carried it back to the cabin like a treasure. Look, look, our tree made a apple. Everyone gathered around. This tiny, imperfect fruit that represented years of patience, years of growth, years of hoping something beautiful could come from something planted in pain. Can I eat it? Rosie asked. Not yet, sweetheart. Few more weeks. But I want it now. Best things take time. Jacob ruffled her hair. You'll understand when you're older. Everyone keeps saying that. When will I be older? Sooner than we want, Clara said softly. Enjoy being young while you can. Later, after the children had been put to bed, Clara and Jacob stood by the apple tree in the moonlight. I used to think God punished me, Clara said. 3 daughters instead of sons, a husband who hated me for it. I thought I must have done something terrible to deserve that life. And now I think God was saving me. Every daughter was a reason to survive. Every year was leading me here to you to this. She touched the tree's small branches. I wouldn't change anything, not even the pain, because it brought me home. Jacob wrapped his arms around her from behind. They stood together, breathing the same air, watching the same moon that had witnessed all their sorrows and all their joys. You know what I think, he said. What? I think home isn't a place. It's the people you'd burn the world down to protect. That's very philosophical. Had a lot of time to think these past years. He kissed her temple. Came to a lot of conclusions, most of them wrong. But this one I'm sure about. Clara leaned back into his warmth, closed her eyes, let herself feel how far they'd come. From a screaming woman in the snow to this. From a broken man who'd forgotten how to live to this. From 3 terrified little girls to this. This moment, this peace, this love. Jacob. I'm glad you stopped. I'm glad I did too. No, I mean really. Hundreds of men could have ridden past that day. Most of them would have looked away. But you didn't. You stopped. I told you why. I know. Because of your mother. Because of Catherine and Rebecca. Because you made a promise. That's right. Clara turned in his arms, looked up at his weathered, beloved face. Thank you for keeping it. He kissed her, slow and deep and full of everything they'd survived to reach this moment. When they parted, the first light of dawn was touching the horizon. New day, Jacob said. New day. Clara agreed. They walked back to the cabin together to the children who would soon wake, demanding breakfast to the life they'd built from ashes and courage. Behind them, the apple tree stood in the growing light, roots deep branches reaching toward the sky. Home, they'd discovered, wasn't what you found. It was what you fought for. It was what you chose. And they had chosen each other.